Chris, you're on because you've written this wonderful book, My Unbelievable Life. Look, we're all huge fans. I know Ben's been a good friend of yours for a very long time.
He certainly has.
But for those who don't know what is at the heart of your experience recently, you have a condition called Apraxia, don't you? Which has affected your speech. You're known, of course, as somebody who's been a sports commentator, a broadcaster, an entertainer, and it's really affected you. But you have taken ownership, become really positive about it, haven't you?
Absolutely. Well, I didn't know what it was. I was diagnosed with an underactive thyroid, so that creates depression. So I thought that was it, and it was affecting my voice. And then a thyroid expert called Peter Taylor said, it normally doesn't affect your voice. You need to get another opinion. So I went to see a brain specialist, and I was only in there for 2 minutes speaking to him. And he said, you've got apraxia of speech, where the connection between the brain and the mouth breaks down, and you can't say the words. Your mouth can't control itself to say the words properly. They come out very slow. And so I thought that defined me. So my apologies to everybody out there who's got a speech condition, because it doesn't define who you are. I get upset about talking about it, and because I was in denial. I was ashamed that I couldn't speak, you know, so...
You've got nothing to be ashamed of. Yeah, honestly. Let me just take your hand for a second, Chris. Honestly, you've done so much to inspire other people. I know, Ben, you've had experiences, haven't you, where you've spoken to people who are literally no longer ashamed of what they're experiencing because of the way that you've spoken out about it.
Yeah, that's been the good thing about all this. Ben was behind me coming out and doing the documentary and talking about it. And once I'd spoken about it and you get it off your chest and realise that everyone's behind you, family, friends, are all with you all the way, no matter what happens, you know. And
it's an interesting thing, though, Cam, isn't it? Because I can sit down and your friends and family can sit down and say, Kammy, it doesn't change how we feel about it. It doesn't change how much we want you to keep doing what you're doing. But you need to understand that voiceover we did, we were talking about it, we were laughing about the fact I have spent years trying to get Kammy to think about what he says before he says it, because he usually gets himself into trouble.
Absolutely.
And all of a sudden, you had too much time to think about what you were saying. And you know, the shame piece, I think, is the thing that strikes me so hard, Kammy, especially when I see you getting upset as one of my best mates. And in the book as well, and you talk really personally in the book about the impact it had on you because you were concerned for your family and what that meant for you and their responsibility.
Yeah, I didn't want to be a burden, you know. That's the thing. I thought, you know, I've spent my life trying to look after my family, and I don't want them to be in a position where they're having to care for me. But they would love to.
Of course
if
they would.
That situation happened, and all the support I've had, I realised how wrong I was. Yeah. So now I've got the opportunity to try and help people with speech and language problems. We were in Parliament just in October, lobbying the government so kids who are born with apraxia, CAS, childhood apraxia of speech, get maybe one speech and language therapy lesson every 6 months, and that's not enough. No, for kids growing up. They need it constantly, and the government need to wise up on these situations. Not just the kids, though, it's adults as well, who've had a stroke, got MS, got MND, you know, aphasia, ataxia, apraxia, verbal dyspraxia, all those get no help whatsoever. So I'm going to campaign as much as I can to help those people.
Do you get a lot of support as well in the football community?
Oh, the football world has been amazing. 28 clubs have given me an open invitation whenever I want to go to their ground. Palace is one of them. West Ham is one of them. Your team. Who's your team, Kate?
I don't know whether I can claim one, but if I had one, I'd give it to you.
Yeah.
Arsenal, probably, because that's who the kids support.
Talking to Kate, as you know, Ben, I went to Mexico for some experimental treatment, and it's working, Kate. Thank you so much for recommending that.
Yeah. Well, it's wonderful. I mean, that's something that I was nervous about talking to you about. It's something that Derek's had treatment for. I couldn't guarantee anything because they couldn't guarantee anything because it's very new, but you feel it's really helped you, which is incredible.
Amazing. When I'm not talking about the speech, because it's psychosomatic,
Yeah.
it slows down when you talk about it.
you're
The
conscious
brain
of it.
is so complex. So when you talk about good things, about football and stuff like that, my voice goes back, you know.
Yeah.
I can
Or
hear that.
if I try and put on an accent, a Scottish accent, oh, it's me, Kammy here. You know, you can talk fluently
Scottish.
all day long. Irish, of course. You can talk fluently, and the brain is crazy.
One of the things that was amazing was when Kammy was in Mexico, because his balance is affected, so, and your strength. He was sending me footage of you hopping around the pool. He'd got his wife, and he hadn't been able to jump a hop for years, and you were hopping, endlessly hopping. I've got all these bits of footage of Kammy jumping around.
It's so crazy. The brain tells you that you can't lift your feet off the ground. It's just so complex.
It's so complex, it's so important. And what you're doing as well, I think, talking about that shame that you felt about speech and it defining you, you know, the truth is that any kind of brain injury affects the way people perceive you, doesn't it? And it affects that relation with others. So by saying it doesn't define you, you're championing it for a lot of people with a lot of different
hope so.
conditions.
You are, mate.
Yeah,
Great
really
stuff.
are.
This is his book,
Yeah.
Chris Kamara, My Unbelievable Life. And just so you know, there's a lot. But I think the way that you've put it together is incredible, Kammy. The team that have worked with it,
Thank you.
what you've been through. But there's so many extraordinary stories in here. It has been an unbelievable life, hasn't it?
It has. And can I say a big thanks to you, Ben?
Yeah.
Because none of this would have happened without your help.
I want a hug.
Oh, you're both going to be crying now.
Oh,
Right, Laura, can you do the weather or something, please? This is very embarrassing.
thank you, Kammy.